Hi, new teachers. Welcome to West Florence High School. I've been assigned the task of teaching one form of instructional design, which can help you create meaningful lessons for your students. Today, we will begin learning about the Assure model. So what is the Assure model? An instructional model for planning a lesson or learning object and the technology that will enhance the outcome for the learners. As you can see from the graphic, there are 6 major points that we're going to learn about today. So you're probably wondering, what does Assure stand for? Well, here is your graphic, and we're going to walk through each of these points in just a second. Let's begin with the A. A stands for analyzing your learners. Here are some of the components you're going to want to think about. How many students do you have? What's the ratio of males to females? What age ranges are in your class? What are the mental, social, and physical needs? Do you have any 504s or IEPs or BIPs that you need to think about? Your students' current knowledge and learning styles. To try to help you understand this process, I'm going to give you a model of my own class and an assignment that we have completed this year. My first block is an English 2 GT class. I currently have 17 students, 10 girls and 7 boys. They range from 13 to 15. In this class, I only have one student with a 504 plan. This is a group of advanced students. They pick up pretty quickly. They can be lazy, but they do generally get their work done. They are mostly auditory and visual learners. I know this because I gave them a survey to start off our school year. With this group, I decided to use Adobe Spark to have them create multimedia introductory speeches. After analyzing my students, the next part of the Assure model is the S, which stands for Standards and Objectives. Within the model, your standards may vary state by state, but I use the South Carolina College and Career Readiness Standards. Here is a breakdown of the standards and objectives that I covered within the Adobe Spark project for my English 2 GT kids. The second S of the Assure model stands for selecting your strategies and your resources. This is the part where you organize your lesson and you figure out how to incorporate more of the technology. There are 3 components to this: deciding on an appropriate method, choosing the specific media format, and selecting, modifying, or designing specific materials within that media format. Here is a breakdown of this step for my students' introductory speeches. But this year, I wanted to incorporate more technology, so they were assigned a multimedia project through Adobe Spark. Once I had decided on the format of the assignment, I needed to move on to the next component of the Assure model, which is utilize the technology. During this step, you will need to plan for the 5 Ps. Preview the material, prepare the materials, preparing the environment, preparing of the learners, and providing the learning experience. The utilize the technology step looked like this for me. Since Adobe Spark was a new app for my students, I put together a sheet to help them understand the process of creating a project on the website. As you can see, I gave an assignment overview, which we talked through in class. I then explained to them what the app was actually about and gave them the requirements for the video. This led to the rubric, which we went over point by point, so students would know what was required of them within the project. The next aspect of the Assure model is the R, for Require Learner Participation. This section is when you actually present your lesson or your learning object. Students need to be focused on the assignment and meeting the objectives throughout the whole process. I was the first person to introduce Spark to these students. It was interesting because they'd never seen it before, and they enjoyed being able to put their own media into their presentations. To make sure that the students were participating, I walked around throughout the whole class period. The last step of the Assure model is the evaluate and revise part. This is a step that is often overlooked, but is very important. This portion of the model includes assessment of the learner's achievements, evaluations of your strategies and resources, and revisions that will be needed when you do this again. Once my students had submitted their final projects, I took a chance to look back and reflect on what I had done and what I could do differently next time. Some things that I realized. were that students needed more time in class with me there to help them. They also needed mice. The Chromebooks are not a good source for completing this assignment. I hope this presentation has helped you get a good understanding of what the Assure model is and how to take this concept and apply it to your own classroom. Good luck!